Yeah, so on the whole thing with the conservatives being attacked, Ben Garrison, he does those cartoon, caricature things, and it's always like politically, done in a real good way. He's just really good. Rogue cartoonist Ben Garrison. I see his stuff all over the place, and again, it's kind of funny, but it's like deadly serious too. And I got this from Zero Hedge, but they link back to his main site, so I'll just give it to you there, give him the full credit. And here's a brief picture. The game of Monopoly, the free speech Monopoly game. Play the hate speech card, shadow banning, climate change avenue, impeach Trump, no borders place, more Taxi Street, hate speech, that's the jail, and you see Alex Jones in there. Hollywood, what forgot? Antifa, Russia. Right. So we've got Apple and Google and all that stuff, the deep state. So, but it's not just a picture. He goes on to write a few 2-3 paragraphs here, more like 4 or 5. Actually, way more than that. I just had to scroll down, but they're short. But he's right, and this is one of the first times that I've seen him. Maybe he's done this, and forgive me if he hasn't. I just never picked up on it over the past. But I don't recall him writing, 7, 8, 9, 10 paragraphs about his, quote unquote cartoon caricature he put together. Oh, and the safe space. I got to show that one. Let's go back. The safe space, the pacifier. Awesome. So let's go here. In early America, many cities had town squares in which citizens could stand on soapboxes and shout out various messages. Our First Amendment protests, protect such speech. The internet is today's town square. The soapboxes are social media. And I'm going to stop now and make a prediction. Not that you might find this shocking. Oh, yeah, that probably happened. This may go to the Supreme Court, and you may see these bigwig companies getting absolutely and utterly destroyed with the smackdown that the Supreme Court levies against them for violating citizens' free speech. You might find the largest class action lawsuit ever known to mankind against Google, Google/YouTube, Facebook, even Twitter, because the thing is, you can't allow certain types of speech and not say, well, it's our platform, we're allowed to do what we want. It's not that cut and dry. Because if you allow certain political viewpoints, then it changes things, and you have to allow all viewpoints and that sort of stuff. And again, this is not about hate speech. The hate speech part of this is their way around the law, the Constitution, to say, well, we determined that you said something that constitutes hate speech, and we don't like that kind of language on our platform. It's like, well, I didn't say bad language, I just said whatever. They'll get mad if you refer to a certain extremist group. Well, that's hate speech. Well, wait a minute, but they just committed a crime. Some extremist did. But it was the word you used before extremist that constitutes this type of person, ethnicity, and that's why, again, free speech is free speech. If you have a public platform open, you can't pick and choose. Well, those guys over there, hate speech. And again, you don't ever get a reason. When YouTube nails you, it just says for violating hate or bullying and harassment policies, things that we don't like to see. But it doesn't tell you, at minute 15 minutes and 38 seconds when you said such, we feel that that's violated. See, they won't tell you specifically. Anyways, continuing on. The internet is today's town square. The soapboxes are social media. The deep state and the left are intertwined with Silicon Valley. The CIA helped Google and Facebook get started. Why? To make it easier to spy on people. Now, I told you the other day, I'm pretty sure I did a video on this. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I did this the other day. And in whatever I was talking about, I said, and I found this, and it showed that the CIA or NSA or somebody was trying to create this way of tracking everything we did. And they've retracted, okay, we were going forward with this project, such and such, but we're going to retract it, we're not going to move forward now. And literally within a day or 2 days, or maybe it was the same day, enter Facebook, a new social media platform's created. Literally like down to the day. Facebook has been created. We're retracting our plans as government. We're going to let this private enterprise take over and do exactly what we wanted it to do to begin with. Again, I told you why. Because when this all goes down, and these media giants, whether they fail, get sued sued into bankruptcy, it doesn't matter. The CEO, Mark Zuckerberg, you don't think he's taking enough money? He's been selling all his stock all year long. In 2018, I showed you the chart the other day. This guy's been selling like his business is burning down. Yet you look around, well, it's okay. I mean, sure the stock took a little hit the other day, but And he was selling way before that. Why is he selling all of a sudden? If his company gets burned to the ground, so to speak, bankruptcy style, what happens? He's still a multi-billionaire. Doesn't matter. He could go and start a new company the next day. And you can't go after him. You can only go after Facebook Inc., which is now bankrupt, in the pretend, bankrupt. Have a nice day. Him with his billions goes on. So don't think of it as, oh, they're going to take my company down. They have their agenda, and it doesn't matter. So whereas you can't go after the government, cause some big trouble, the government works with the private enterprise and says, we're going to help you, we're going to give you grants, we're going to help you. They do all these things to get them going, and all the upper management making huge money in violating the law, in my opinion. And they don't care because they still got their salaries. They can quit today and they're fine for the rest of their lives. The government doesn't get in trouble. The deep state, that is, doesn't get in trouble because, it was a private enterprise. We didn't know they were taking all that information. We didn't know they were selling all your information. And you didn't know we were the buyers on the other end of that information. Anyway, let's go. The deep state and the left are intertwined with Silicon Valley. The CIA helped Google and Facebook get started. Why? To make it easier to spy on people. Over time, millions gravitated toward Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Conservative and libertarian voices became very strong, and that alarmed the deep state. So they began demonetizing conservatives. Then they shadow banned them, and now they are outright deleting them. I just had a thought come into my mind as I was reading that last sentence. If what I said happens, Google and everybody, they're sued their pants off to where they're like file bankruptcy or something. It gets so bad. And these platforms start collapsing. I'm thinking a Theta token. Talk about perfect timing for Theta token with its social media back-end, content delivery network capabilities, being ready to handle anything out there. Some new platform could develop. Again, one of the top advisors was one of the original creators of YouTube, who did sell off to Google at that time. They were only open for a year and a half. They started in 2005. By 2006, Google bought them out. Paid them a nice lump sum too. And Google had Google Video back then to try to compete with YouTube. I remember because I saw the trending stuff on YouTube, Google Video, and it was all about 9/11 and this and that, and that's what got me into looking at that stuff. Trending, hot trending. And I'm like, oh, that one is there. There's that same video. Wow, it's covering all three of the top trending categories. I probably should go watch this. Whatever this is, what's this 9/11 stuff? Conspiracy, what? And I went and looked at it and said, oh my God, from that day, I was hooked forever. Because of the information they shared and showed you. Factual stuff they showed you. Oh my God, how come I didn't see that on the news? I didn't know there was a building 7 that went down. I didn't, I had all these questions. But Google could not compete with YouTube. Google Video could not compete with YouTube. YouTube was that dude. So they had to buy out YouTube, and they did, and now they control it. And now they're banning people left and right that don't toe the official line. So I thought just now, man, if this thing starts falling apart, these big social media giants, talk about Theta and understanding why Theta could get into the $1,000+ range in the future, of course, as it grows and grows and grows. Whatever platform. And it might not just be one platform. It could be multiple platforms, audio streaming, video streaming, podcasts, all kinds of stuff that use the Theta network. Whereas YouTube is just YouTube video, that's it. Theta could be the token, the crypto, that powers the whole damn future of that stuff. And you're telling me you can't see $1,000+ price on that in the future if it does something like that? At 8.5 cents today? Fire sale for Theta? Okay. Disregard Theta fire sale at your own risk. At your own financial peril. For many years, Alex Jones reached millions with his journalism and rants. His tirades helped wake people up. He yelled at us about the deep state, including the corrupt not secret, but security agencies, the Bohemian Grove. I remember when he infiltrated. Well, I had someone comment earlier. Oh, Alex Jones, man, I think he's a controlled opposition. You think controlled opposition's allowed to sneak into Bohemian Grove and film the stuff they didn't want him filming and showing, and interviewing people? And the things that those people said in those interviews, like the workers, the young young men workers that service the elite more than just serving them drinks, if you follow me. No, I'm not on the page that Alex Jones is a controlled opposition. I think Alex Jones is the real deal, a serious truth teller, advocate of rights, etc. That's my belief. I do not buy this whole crap about him. No, I just can't. The CFR, the Bilderbergs, fluoride in our water, and the lies about 9/11, and yes, even the Sandy Hook thing. The latter had many anomalies that should be questioned, he says. Alex brought all of this up and more before anyone else had an inkling about what was really going on with such matters. He was routinely dismissed as a conspiracy theorist by the establishment. However, much of what he has been saying over these years is now acknowledged as self-evident. It's true. The legacy media, the deep state, the Silicon Valley, and Silicon Valley could not stomach the fact that he was informing and influencing minds and elections. They all got together and confiscated his soapbox. Again, in just a few hours, all of them. Their lame excuse, they claimed he was a purveyor of hate speech. Every time, actually that's a little ad. However, or having previously endured years of hate speech aimed toward me, this guy says, Garrison, or whatever, I know what it is and what it isn't. To me, it's libel, it's defamation, and it's death threats. Alex Jones has never engaged in hate speech. Questioning climate change is not hate speech. Jones is not a racist, a bigot, or any of the other phobic names that the left enjoy pinning on ideological opponents. Hate speech sounds alarming and terrible, but it's also vague, which again is why YouTube will hit you with it, and then you can't even ask what specifically. They will not respond to you. All you can do is click an appeal link that says, I appeal what the decision you guys just made on my account, my video. And you give a little reason. That's only so many characters long. If you talk too much, it stops you. Oh, we need it to be shorter. Okay. Well, since you didn't tell me what part of my effing video was not in compliance, I'm not really sure how to appeal. So you have to give a generalized appeal back. I don't think this was, sorry, we stand by our original decision. You don't know who made that decision. You don't know where it came from to begin with. Was it someone flagging my video? Was it someone internal to YouTube? Wink, wink. Who made that decision? And of course, no matter what I say in the appeal, denied. Judge, juror, executioner. YouTube, Google. Who gets to decide what it is? The Supreme Court ruled it was legal speech already. Hate speech is legal speech. But apparently the Silicon Valley and deep state commissars want to overrule that decision. They own their social media game and they've rigged it in their favor. They have all the money in the world, so they can afford to lose revenue, like I said the other day, from the millions of conservatives and libertarians that they're forcing out of the game. Like I said, put a liberal in charge and they'll run your effing business into the ground. And that's what they're doing. And we certainly have seen some revenue drops across the board recently on these guys, haven't we? Because they're getting rid of these people who have a lot larger following than, for sure, me and many others, which means there's tons of ad revenue being missed out on. You would think another lawsuit from the shareholders would be in order against some of these companies. They can't win the argument, so they're resorting to censorship, he says. Censorship is what China does. And by the way, did anyone hear the recent report on the Chinese censored version of Google? Google made an agreement with the Chinese government. Let us come in and we'll censor anything you need censored. And the employees within Google are in an uproar right now It's happening now, like last few days. They're in an uproar. Some have quit, some have filed complaints, and then Google went in and locked down the areas where they talked about this I think it was project named Dragonfly. Now, only very few people have access to those documents, when before, a lot of Google employees did have access and said, we don't like this. Censorship, uh-oh. Google had to clamp down on them, their own employees. This is fact. This is not, go look it up. I think it was called Project Dragonfly within Google. Censorship is what China does, and companies like Facebook and Apple are eager to please the communist oligarchs. The deep state wants what President Xi, China, enjoys, a rigged internet that does not allow dissent or criticism of the political elite. Right now, even Winnie the Pooh is being banned in China. Why? Because Xi opponents in China were using the cartoon bear as a meme to criticize their leader. Remember, conservatives greatly out-memed the left during the last presidential election. Hillary is no doubt very angry that we have the ability to meme and ridicule her pomposity. She once said herself that the internet needs an editor. She did. And she also said, remember, guys, we're losing the information war. Remember that one? She would welcome a Chinese-style, well-censored internet that she and her ilk would control. The leftist media have dominated American minds for decades. The lies they were told were readily accepted as facts. That kind of mind control is no longer working for them thanks to the internet. We know their Russian collusion narrative is bunk. We're not going along, so now they want to force us to go along, and if we don't, we get banned as some kind of hater. Hate speech, homophobe, xenophobe, whatever. Fill in the blank phobe. It will only get worse, he says. PayPal is already banning users who are being smeared as haters. The left will make that tactic seem fashionable, so it's a matter of time before banks get in on the act. Maybe even Bezos owned Amazon. What can we do? Many think conservatives should develop their own social media. That is no easy task, and we will receive no generous funding from the deep state to do it like the other ones did. What we should not do is ask government to regulate social media. That would only add bureaucracy and regulations on free speech, and if the left regains political control, they will then use that to their advantage and say, well, under the law, we're allowed to do this. Under that law, we're allowed to do this. Just like they use the IRS to harass and not give the conservative groups 501c3 status under Lois Lerner. The only thing we can do now is keep our cool and let the leftist oligarchs play their game and reveal themselves for who they are. Tyrants who want control over our minds via the game of Monopoly. Ben Garrison. Isn't it funny that this whole time with InfoWars, Alex Jones, there's an information warfare for your mind. Warfare. He always said that. It's an information warfare. It's a war for your mind. It's really true. They want your mind. They want, no, don't look over there. No, look over here. Yeah, but Building 7, 9/11, what was, whoa. Nope, over here. Look that way. There you go. Puppy dogs, cat videos. All right, I forgot about that Building 7 thing. All right, let's go. Dogs and no, I'm going back. That's how Jason M4 would play it. Yeah, you can let go. I'm with you. Yeah, I was stupid. And they're not looking back to the building. What was this Building 7 thing? Anyways, like you said, the only thing we can do now is keep our cool and just let these leftist oligarchs play their game and reveal themselves for who they are. Tyrants who want control over our minds via the game of Monopoly. I'm telling you now, there's going to be lawsuits, and this may go all the way to the Supreme Court, which we now have 5-4 on our side, if you know what I'm saying. And maybe 6-3 here shortly, etc. So it's just a matter of time. So those who are out there on YouTube, getting a little too far out there and they don't like it, about to shut you down, maybe tone it back a little bit. so you don't get your channel banned. Old Snippy had to make the conscious decision. Do not talk about the school shooting stuff. Do not talk about that anymore. Because that's what almost got me banned. Me not believing the official line. Oh, gone. 2 strikes, 1 more, and you know, 3rd strike, you could be gone. Whoa, what did I do? Just having a discussion, actually. Didn't show anything. Didn't play anything. Oh, interesting. And then the next day, I'm driving talking about people waking up. Just to the lies of everything. Oh, strike 2. What? When I was a kid, the Billy Ocean song, Caribbean Queen, I used to think I heard him say, like, you strike 3. You strike 3. Now we're sharing. You know, as a kid, you know, whatever. Sounds good. I'm singing it. That was prophetic for the future when I got older, became a man. You strike 3. Not Caribbean Queen. You strike 3. So, I was just trying to think of something to add to that. Like, now we're sharing the same ban E. Doesn't rhyme. So, I just won't add anything to that. Anyways, this is, again, we live in some pretty serious time. There's some major stuff going on. And like I said, ever since around the year 2012, right? And you might agree. It seemed like each year was more exciting in certain ways, like this kind of stuff, than the previous year. Then some more interesting stuff. And by the way, I did a video the other day, and I said, oh, these 2 congressmen, they tried to push in this, you know, this law, this bill that would help propagandize us with the help of the media and all that. And I said, thank God it didn't get passed. Somebody corrected me. Joe, it did get passed. They added it to one of the National Defense Authorization Act bills that got passed. It was the 2013 or 14 or whatever one it was. They already added it. It's already been added. So my other video, I stand corrected. It has been added. So when QAnon posted that, that's the bill that actually has been enacted through one of the National Defense Authorization Act bills. Under, you guessed it, Obama. Take care.